Good afternoon. I am Ashwini Pai Jhabak from Barcelona, and welcome to the first podcast of ICEMA Unplugged. Today, I take great privilege in introducing our first guest, Mr. Deepak Shetty, who is the Managing Director of JCB, India, South Asia, East Africa, and South Africa. And grace comes from the fact that he takes up many leadership positions within the industry. The most recent one is as the president of ICEMA and helps steer the ecosystem within the industry for more collaboration and catapults us ahead. The format of the podcast is going to be just a few questions about the industry, where we're going to be. So let's begin, sir. Are you
Thank you, Ashwini. It's wonderful to be here with you on this podcast. I know the first one is always special and different, but something I'm sure we'll all learn from you as we go along in this particular process. And you've been very kind with your introduction. I don't know whether I deserve all of those words or those appreciations, but yes, a part of a very important industry. It's wonderful to work very closely with our colleagues from ICEMA. And it's also very unique that ICEMA is the only industry body which represents the construction equipment sector in India. So it's a very, very joined up team that we have at ICEMA.
so over to the first question? Where do you see the industry 10 years from today and the role of technology within it?
I think the industry is I would say, at an inflection point. Though a lot is being said about our infrastructure journey last few years, which has been absolutely fantastic, particularly in last 10 years, with the government's focus on infrastructure, but a lot more needs to be done, and the country needs a lot more on the infrastructure side. If you look from ICEMA point of view, we had created our vision document 2030 just before COVID. And that gave us a vision that by 2030, the construction equipment market in India should be the second largest in the world, almost around $25 billion size of the industry. Post-COVID, recently, we again went back and looked at the numbers again. And what was surprising is that nothing has changed. With the government's continued focus on infrastructure development, we are seeing every budget, the investment on infrastructure is increasing. And that focus really helps grow the construction equipment sector. What we found as a part of that particular relook at the numbers, that we'll still be the second largest in the world. The industry will grow from around 140,000 today to almost 250,000, and we'll be the second largest construction equipment industry in the world that is domestic. But on top of it, if I look at it, India is now turning out into a big base for export of construction equipment. We are now exporting to almost 135 countries around the world, and that again creates further opportunities. So as an industry, it is not only the growth in a domestic market, but the huge opportunity that we have from the export point of view, particularly as we climb up the value chain from the emission norms point of view. For the road equipment, the wheeled equipment, we are already at stage 5. And I'm sure in next few years, we will also have the stage 5 requirement for the tracked equipment. And that sort of opens the global market, particularly in the developed world for us. So I'm very bullish about the opportunity for next 10 years. I think next 10 years will be the golden period for the construction equipment industry.
Wonderful. And to follow up a little bit on the technology, what is your thoughts on electric equipment?
I think the whole world is seeing this whole revolution in electric sector, particularly on the passenger vehicle side. We are also seeing the adoption of EV technology in the construction equipment side. But I feel it will not be one sort of story of EV that we have seen now in the passenger vehicle. It will be spread across. We will see that the technologies like hydrogen or alternate fuels will be relevant for the larger machines, because it's very difficult to sort of box up the fuel cells in the, say, a 50-ton excavator or a 40-ton excavator. So what we will see as we go along is there will be different sectors of the market which will be serviced by different fuel types. I personally believe that in the construction equipment sector, hydrogen is going to play a huge role, because today the technology is available where you can replace an ICE engine straight away with a hydrogen engine into the same envelope that we have in the machine. So you don't need to make any change in the machine, and you can just adopt an hydrogen engine. And which will be also relevant because In India, it is very special because in the other parts of the world, when we see whether it is alternate fuel or EV, it is the market which is pushing. In India, the direction is coming right from the top. So the National Hydrogen Mission again is going to bring a lot of focus. Coming back to your question on EV, certainly on the smaller machines, EV will be relevant, but these machines also will be those machines which are more relevant to the urban sector.
To make the industry aspirational for our youth, considering we have such a high population and a lot of youth still go into engineering, what would be your thoughts on how the industry should present itself?
Like construction equipment gives multiple options. For a typical mechanical engineer, it again creates opportunities on the operations side, on the shop floor. Because today, our machines, if somebody is interested in automobile technology, our machines are probably as sophisticated or probably more sophisticated than passenger vehicles, because it's not only about going like traveling on four wheels, it is also about the digging, the swinging, and all those things, in the roughest terrain. So if somebody is excited about automobile technology, construction equipment gives a great option. Our machines are very, very sophisticated. Today, probably there are more lines of code written on our construction equipment than some of the passenger cars. Probably 30, 40,000 lines of code. Everything from fan to the engine to the controllability part is controlled. So it again creates a huge opportunity for people with instrumentation engineering, the electronics engineering, the computer science. So you name a branch in engineering, you have an opportunity in the sector. So great opportunity for people who want to get into construction equipment with engineering point of view. But I will go a little away from this. Today, the world is of startups. So if somebody wants to have a small startup, I believe that with 75% of the machines that we produce, particularly on the wheel side, being sold in rural India to first-time buyers, every construction equipment can be a startup. You can create an ecosystem around it, buy a machine, first machine, second machine, and that is hot. So I feel for the youth, the construction equipment sector is a huge opportunity to not only create employment for themselves, but provide employment to others. We know that every machine creates 6 to 7 jobs. So the construction equipment is a job creator. And that's why I believe that. And I got so many stories. Recently, I had one customer who bought his first machine. He had completed his BTech in AI, and he felt that the machine is so sophisticated. It sort of looks after not only his entrepreneurial aspirations, but also he wants to use a very sophisticated machine. So I think there's a lot for the youth in our sector.
Yes, absolutely. Biggest myth about the CE industry you'd like to break?
I think the biggest myth is sometimes I smile when people ask me that has the growth in construction equipment sector taken place in last few years because of more demolitions. I really want to today shatter that myth. Less than 5% of the machines are sold to the government bodies and quasi government authorities. But even within those machines, people sometimes don't appreciate the machine which was used today for one application, tomorrow can be used to clear the ground to build a primary school, build a hospital, or clear up some sewage plant or whatever. So the growth in construction equipment sector, which is taking place last few years, is thanks to the focus that the government, both at the national level and the state level, has in creating infrastructure. The roads, the airports, the rural roads, the Jal to Nal project, all of these are contributing to the growth in our sector.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. That's it from us. That's the end of the first ICEMA podcast.
Thank you very much, and asking a few questions and also reminding us that construction equipment sector can be equally engaging, interesting, and is a great opportunity for the future. Thank you.